Hi, everyone. My name is Kenzie, and I'm a personal trainer at the CSU Rec Center. And I will be leading tonight's group workout, and I'm super excited. So before we get started, I just wanted to go over things like Hannah said, if you feel comfortable with your camera on, you can leave that on just so I can see you guys. And if you guys need help with form or anything, I'm always here if you guys need to ask questions regarding that. And then also one of my favorite kind of sayings is challenge by choice. So you can challenge yourself as much as you want to or as little as you want to. You all know your bodies better than anybody, so do what feels comfortable for you. And if you guys don't feel comfortable doing an exercise, it is totally okay if you guys sit that out and then just join back in whenever you feel comfortable. So to go through an overview of what we're going to do tonight, there's a standing portion and then a sitting portion. We're going to begin with the standing portion, and that part will include a quick standing warm up, and we'll go through some balance training stuff, and then we'll do a strength standing circuit. And then after that, we'll move into a sitting circuit as well. And then we'll finish with some core and then cool down stretching. And like Hannah said, I'm going to be using just some stoop cans for added resistance. Something small that you can hold in your hands would be great, but of course you don't need to. I just got my wisdom teeth out, so I'm using these because I've been like on an all soup and mashed potato diet this past week. So those are just convenient for me to use. But other than that, we can go ahead and get started. So we're going to start with a standing portion, and we are going to go through 6 different exercises. I will go through them, go through all 6 with you guys, and then we're going to do each one for 20 seconds. So I'll first lead by example, and then after I show you all of them, we'll go through our warm up. So the first one, if you need to hold on to a chair for balance, you can do that, but we're going to do some hip flexion and then extension. So it's like you're stepping up onto something, and then you're going to kick your leg back. And then we're going to do that for 20 seconds on each side after I go through all of these. Another one is holding onto a chair if you need, abducting your leg, so just moving straight out to the side as such. And again, we'll do this 20 seconds on each side. The third exercise is calf raises, so just getting on your toes and then slowly moving back down. That is how that one will go. Fourth one is arm circles. So we can do about 10 seconds this way, and then we can do 10 seconds reverse way. Fifth one is half jumping jack steps. So again, you'll just be acting like a jumping jack. You'll step out to the side with your foot out and arm out, and then come back together. Out and back together. So we'll do that 20 seconds each side as well. And then the last one, we'll just do a simple sit to stand. So if you have your chair nearby, just going down, sitting, and then standing again to practice those daily movement exercises. And I like to go through a lot of balance training and moving in different planes of motion, just so you can kind of practice offsetting your center of gravity and balance and having your body adjust. So in daily life, if we do kind of get off center, we can catch ourselves when we have the strength to do so. So I'm going to start my timer, so you guys don't need to keep track of that. But again, we'll start with the hip flexion and extension, and we'll do 20 seconds each side. So I'll let you guys know how we're doing on time. All right, so we will start now. So again, up and back. And so this works our balance in the sagittal plane, which is from front to back. So 3, 2, 1, good. And then we'll switch sides. And then we'll do the other side. Ready? There you go. Looks good, guys. 3, 2, 1. All right, now we'll transition to the lateral abduction. So we'll start in 3, 2, 1. We'll do the first side, just out to the side. And this helps also, you could feel it in your gluteus minimus and medius, that's on the sides up here by your hip. 3, 2, 1. All right, and then we'll switch sides. 3, 2, 1. And again, this works your balance in another plane. This is the transverse plane, or sorry, the frontal plane that we're moving in. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. All right, next up, we have calf raises. So we can start those up on your toes and back down. Looks good, guys. Four, 3, 2, 1. All right, now we'll move into our arm circles that we can start in 3, 2, 1. We'll do 20 seconds forward and we'll do 20 seconds backwards. So this is also a really good exercise, to do if you don't have any weights at home. Helps your shoulders and deltoids. 3, 2, 1, and go in the reverse. Three, 2, 1. Awesome. All right, next up we have our half jumping jack steps. So again, out to the side and back in. So we'll do the first side first. Again, we're moving in the frontal plane here. And this just kind of helps get your heart rate up a little bit. 3, 2, 1. All right, and then we'll switch sides. Three, 2, 1. All right, awesome. Now we'll move to our last exercise of our standing warm up, and that's the sit to stand again. And so this also works on your balance of your daily movement. You can hold on to the chair if you need, put your hands over your chest or out in front of you. All right. So this mimics the squat movement. There you go, and 3, 2, 1. All right, awesome. So next up, we are gonna do some balance training. And so I think it's super important to work on balance, no matter what age you are, because balance is coordination, like I said, daily movements that we do. We're not moving strictly in the sagittal plane or strictly in the frontal plane. It's a different combination of planes that we're always moving in. So it's good to have balance so we do not fall. And I also know that a lot of us are working remotely. I know I'm on my computer all day doing schoolwork. So doing little balance challenges throughout the day is something that you can, do after a few hours of sitting down for work, just to kind of challenge yourself and see where you're at. So we're gonna do a quick balance challenge, and it's gonna be a 1 minute max effort. So you can be by a chair if you need help with balance, but you're gonna lift up one leg off the ground, or you can keep your toes on the ground if you need to. But then again, close to a chair, so if you need balance, you can grab onto something. So we're gonna see, I'm gonna tell you guys, let you guys know in 15-second increments what time we're at. So you guys can remember that number of what side, how much time you can hold on one leg on each side. So it's just something you can work on, you know, every day or so, just to see your progress and see how you're doing. So we can start with one side, and I'll have my timer on for a minute and I'll let you know in increments. So just remember that time, do the best you can, and we'll start now. We have 15 seconds down. I used to play soccer, and when we would do balance stuff, they would always tell us to hold our earlobes if you're losing your balance, because that's supposed to help you. Not sure if it actually works, but it helps me. 30 seconds down. And doing each side also kind of helps to see any balance, or if you're better at one side than the other. I know sometimes with certain exercises, my right side is stronger just because I use that all the time compared to my left. I got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, that's a minute, so you can see kind of where you are on that side for balance wise. You know, if that's your dominant side, if you're a little better on that side, and we'll try the other side now. So we'll just do the opposite leg, and we'll start now. Got 20 seconds down. And 30 more seconds. 15. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, awesome. So yeah, you guys can do that, you know, every day, every couple of days, just to kind of see where you are, remember those numbers on each side, and kind of test yourself and see how you improve. So the next portion that we're going to go into is a standing strength circuit. And I really love doing strength exercises. It's super good also for balance and coordination and building muscle strength, but also in regards to your bone density. So I like to kind of relate this to like a bank account. So under 30, you can make withdrawals and deposits to your bone density, you know, through eating sufficient calcium, getting lots of vitamin D, stuff like that. And after 30, your body can only make withdrawals. So it's super important. Studies have shown that strength exercise, regular strength exercise throughout the week helps prevent bone loss, and bone keeps your bone density good. So without that, can lead to osteoporosis or falls that can lead to fractures or bone breaks. So I really love doing strength workouts, and I think it's great for anyone at any age. So we're going to start with, there's going to be 3 rounds. I picked 3 basic leg movements. We have a lunge, a squat movement, and then also a hip hinge. So each round, the first round, we're going to start with the most basic movement of a lunge, squat, and hip hinge. And then the second round, I will provide optional progressions. They're optional, you don't need to do them. If you like the first round exercises, you can stick to those. So again, I'll go through all the exercises first, the first round, and then we can go through them. So the first one is a static lunge. Again, you can hold onto a chair if you need, and you're just going to step forward into a lunge movement, making sure that your chest is nice and high and that your knee does not go past your second toe, and just stepping up. And you can just go down to wherever feels comfortable for you, like that. And then exactly what you're doing is great. So next we have for squat movement, if you feel comfortable, you can do a sit to stand like we did in the warm up, or you can do it without a chair. You can do a simple body weight squat, and you want your legs about shoulder width apart, and you can have your toes slightly pointed outwards, and you're gonna go back like you're sitting in a chair and come back up, making sure that your back is nice and neutral and that your chest is up when we go down. So that's the basic squat movement. And then next we have hip hinges. So when I show these, I like to, you can kind of put your hands on your hips and you're just gonna slightly lean forward and you're gonna feel a stretch. You should feel a stretch in your hamstrings. And when we go down, we want to, super important to make sure that our back is neutral and that our neck is in line with our spine. So I'm just looking over to show you guys, but you guys want to make sure that your spine is nice and neutral. And you're just going to lean, you don't need to lean too far, just to where you can feel that stretch in your hamstrings. All right, so for the first round, we'll do 10 of each exercise. For the lunges, just 5 on each leg. So we can go ahead and start those. So we'll start with the static lunge. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, awesome, look good. All right, if you guys need any water, feel free to get water at any time. We can take a short break to get water after each round while I'm explaining the next round as well. So next one, we'll start with our squats or sit to stand, whichever you prefer. So we'll go ahead, get in position. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. All right, and then we'll move into our hip hinge. Again, making sure our back is nice and neutral. And we're just gonna lean till we feel that stretch. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, get some water if you guys need, and I'll go and give you guys optional progressions for each exercise if you guys need. So you can continue to do the first rounds like we did, but an optional progression for the lunge is instead of going forward, we'll do the same thing, but you can step backwards. Again, chest high and your knee behind your second toe to make sure we have good form. The other progression for squat is when we do a squat, we're gonna go down and then you can pulse just like an inch or two up and then come back. Do a quick pulse and then up. And then for our hip hinge, whereas before we had both of our legs here, you can just take a slight step back with one leg. And then again, you're gonna hinge forward. So you should feel it in that front leg. And so when we go back, we wanna make sure that we're sending our hips back and that the main movement is in our hips, as if you're almost going to sit down. So again, those are optional. So you can do what we did the first round, or if you want to kind of pick and choose between the progressions, we can do that. So let's go ahead and begin. Again, we're gonna do 10 of each exercise. All right, so we'll start now. Do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, awesome. And now for our squats. All right, I'm gonna be doing the ones with a pulse, but you guys do whatever feels comfortable. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. And now again for our hip hinge movement, if you want to do the optional one, just taking one step back and then doing that same hip hinge movement, making sure you're sending your hips back. All right, so we'll do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, and if you want to switch legs on the fifth one, alternate which one is forward. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, so that was the second round of our standing strength circuit. So for the third round, again, oh, I'm almost getting out of breath. All right, we can do, for the lunge, there's another optional progression if you want. So how we did the basic lunge, if you want to rotate each side, you can. Again, totally optional. And then for the squat, we can do a squat to press. So again, our regular squat movement. And then when we come up, you can just push those cans up. There you go. Looks great. So we can do that one. And then for the hip hinge, we'll just keep it to the first two options. You can either do the double leg hip hinge or the hip hinge with the step back. All right, so we will begin now with the lunges. So whichever one you want to do. We'll do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, looks good. Next one, we'll do any variation of the squat you want to do. And again, if you have like the detergent, you can again use both hands and press like that overhead. So we'll start 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Looking good. All right, and our last one again, we'll just pick between one of those first two, either the regular hip hinge or the step back. So we can go ahead, do those. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, looks good. If anyone needs some water, if not, I can explain the sitting strength circuit. So if you have a chair around, that would be great. Again, with these, I'm going to use my cans just for some added resistance. So we'll start with our sitting warm-up. So with these, again, I'll go through these 3 exercises We'll do them for 20 seconds each, and then we can move on to the strength circuit. So the first one is we're just going to do a basic chest expansion. So you'll have your arms in front of you together, and you'll expand them. So it's almost kind of like stretching your chest and your back at the same time. So that's the first exercise. The second one, if you have cans or anything, you can take them, and we're just going to do basic bicep curls, remembering to keep your elbows close to your body. There you go, that looks good with the detergent. And the next one we have is shoulder press. So again, with the cans, you can do 90-degree angle and up. And if you have the Tide, if you have the detergent, you can just raise it up in front of you. There you go, like that. Using what we have around the house. I know exercise equipment has been very hard to find with the pandemic. So, all right, so we're gonna go ahead and start the 20 seconds with the chest expansion. All right, and I'll set my timer. Stretch. Three, two, one. All right, now we'll move to the bicep curls. And we'll start those in 4, 3, 2, 1. Everybody's looking good. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, now we'll transition into the shoulder press exercise in 3, 2, 1. There you go, making that 90-degree and then back up. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, so that was our sitting warm up, and now we're gonna move into our sitting strength circuit. So I'm gonna move this way so you guys can see what I'm doing. So the first one that we're going to do is a seated back fly. So for this exercise in your chair, you're gonna wanna lean slightly forward, still making sure that your back is neutral and straight, and making sure that your neck also is in line, otherwise your neck will hurt. But if you have your small cans, you can come out like this. This is similar to a chest expansion, and you should feel it in your back when you're leaning just slightly forward. It's almost like you're trying to pinch a pencil between your two scapula right there. The next one that we're going to do with our cans, if you have a hammer curl, this is slightly different from a bicep curl, whereas bicep curls, our palms are facing upwards. Our palms are going to be facing in this time, basically mimicking how you would when you take a drink of something with your cans. So the hand placement is slightly different, works a slightly different place on your bicep. Our third exercise that we're going to do is a tricep dip. So with your chair, you can come onto the edges of it. To make it a little easier, you can bend your knees. To make it a little harder, you can straighten your legs, whatever feels more comfortable for you. And you're just gonna bend down to a 90-degree angle and then push yourself back up. All right, so those are the three basic exercises. One targets your back, one your kind of biceps and shoulders, and the other one your triceps. Again, this will be the first round, and then the second round, I'll offer some more progressions if you guys want to do those. And we'll be doing 10 of each. So for the first one, we'll start again with the back fly, and I'll remind you guys of each one before we do so. So again, started from a slightly leaning forward, and it's almost like that chest expansion we did. You're gonna wanna fly your arms back. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, awesome. Next up is hammer curls. Like I said, these are different from bicep curls. You're just gonna hold them like you would when you're taking a drink of something. So you're gonna pull those up close to you. Yep, looks good. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Hey, Kenzie.
All right.
We have a question in the chat that says, can you recommend a modification for the tricep dips? My hands and wrists are very weak and a bit arthritic.
Yes. Yeah, we can go into another, this is actually what I was going to show on the second round. If you have a can or anything you can hold it just over your head and raise it up like this, and that will also work the triceps as well. And you just want to make sure that your elbows are close to your ears when you do that. And that will be a little bit easier, I think, on your wrist. If not, we have another progression I can show later that maybe also you would like. So yeah, that was the first round of exercises. Second one, optional progressions. Again, if you have these cans, you're going to be leaning slightly forward and you're going to pull up like a narrow pull. So your elbows are going to be close to your body and you're going to just like you're pulling something close to you. And when you at the top, you can kind of squeeze your scapula together so you can feel it in your back. So you want to make sure that your triceps are doing the movement and they're moving back together. Again, that's an optional progression. An optional progression for the hammer curl is you can do the hammer curl like we did and then press up and then come back down. So just adding a press in there with that hammer curl. And then again, for the triceps, another way to do them is just holding them up behind your head and then extending your arm. So that will work your triceps here and making sure that our elbows are close to our ears when we do that. So we can go ahead and get started with the second round. Again, you can pick whichever modification feels good and comfortable for you. So for the back exercises, you can do the fly or the narrow press. So I'm going to do the press. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, next one is going to be our hammer curl variations. All right, so we'll start with those. Do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, those look good. And then we'll start with our triceps. So again, you can do tricep dips, or if you want to do the overhead can. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, so that's the second round out of the 3. We only have 1 more to go. Again, I'll offer some more progressions if anybody would like to do those. Again, you don't need to, just some more variations again. So this one will also target the back. So again, you're going to lean slightly forward. And whereas before we were pulling with a narrow form, this time you can pull almost in like a push-up form. Hold the cans up and bring them back, kind of like 90 degrees, as if you're doing like a push-up in the air. And again, you can kind of squeeze or hold at the top for a second, and that will help with those back muscles by your scapula. And next up for the hammer press, we're kind of combining everything. You can start in like a curl position, and you're gonna rotate out and up. And then you'll reverse it and come back down and start in your bicep position. Again, slowly moving out, kind of like an around the world circle, and then coming back in. And then for the last one, for triceps, again, you can lean forward and you'll have your cans in your hand, and you can just extend this way, holding the cans, and that will also work your triceps. And we want to make sure that above our elbow, so that our upper arm stays stationary and that we're moving just the lower part, and that will help target your triceps. So third round, we can go ahead and start again with whichever back modification you want to choose. I'll be doing the one that I most recently showed. So we'll start there. 10. 7. 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Next one, we'll do our last round of our hammer curls. Again, hammer curls, you can do hammer curl to press, or we can do, this is called the Arnold press. So we'll start here. Do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Yeah, so those are really good. Those kind of target everything, kind of like your biceps and also your shoulders when you come up. All right, and so we'll finish with our last tricep round. Again, you can pick any of the 3 modifications that you want. So we'll start last 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, looks good, and you guys can grab some water if you guys need. This last section, we will be doing some core. If you feel comfortable sitting down on the floor, you can. If not, you can always put in a chat and I can give you guys just some different core workouts that you can do in a chair. Just let me know. Hannah, if you can let me know if somebody sends a chat so I can see. So for these last core exercises, if you want to lay on your back, let me adjust my camera. There you go. You're going to lay on your back, and this first one is called the dead bug. So you will look like a dead bug while you do this. So you're going to put your 2 feet in the air, and you're going to have your hands up like this. And what's super important about this is you want to make sure that your entire back is on the floor. I know we have a natural tendency, we sit all day, that we have a little bit of an arch, but you want to make sure your entire back is on the floor. So you're going to put your hands up like a dead bug, and you're going to alternate your leg and arm. So right leg down, left arm back. And we're just going to rotate one at a time.
Kenzie, what is your chair version of this exercise?
So chair version, so just something for kind of core and balance. It's kind of hard to, do core standing. You can do this sitting or standing if you want, but just kind of just stepping up your knee to your elbow is also a great way to engage your core this way.
Awesome.
So whichever one you prefer to do that, I'll show both. So we can start by just doing 20 seconds of that. So I'll go ahead and start my timer. Whichever one you want to do, feel free. So I'll start here and up. And 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, that looks good. And again, you can also, the next one we're gonna do is called bird dog, and that tests your balance as well. So for this one, if you need to do a seated modification, or we'll do a standing modification. For this one, if you don't feel like going on the floor, you can just kind of, again, this is going to test your balance. So just holding your body in different positions with your leg up and arm up at the same time. And just kind of moving as such for the standing progression. And again, holding on to something if you need. For the lying version, you're going to be on all four, and you're going to again raise opposite arm and opposite leg, and you can hold this for about 1 or 2 seconds at the top, and you want to make sure that your back is flat. All right, so we'll do this again for about another 20-25 seconds. You can do the standing or the seated one. All right, so we'll begin those. Four, 3, 2, and 1. All right, that looks good. All right, and so after this, we can do some cool down stretching. And for these, you can be standing for these stretches that I have chosen. So stretching, of course, is super important for exercise, and also kind of just the recovery phase after exercise. You want to make sure, I know your muscles can get super tight afterwards, so we just want to make sure that we're stretching and releasing all of that tightness. Otherwise, you might be super sore the next day. So I have learned, I used to not be a fan of stretching, but throughout my years, I have learned the importance of it. All right, so we're going to kind of go over some different stretches of the main body parts that we have worked today. So the first one, we can just kind of do an overhead lean, and I'll be holding these for about 20 seconds each side to make sure we get a good stretch in. So we'll do 20 seconds to one side and then 20 seconds to the other side. And this will help just kind of your obliques on this side to get that good stretch in. 3, 2, 1, and we'll rotate over to the other side. Three, 2, 1. All right, we'll work on our upper body stretching first. So we'll start with a shoulder stretch almost. So we're gonna put our hands across our body and hold like this, but when we hold our arm, we wanna make sure we're doing our forearm and that we're not holding on our wrist joint or our elbow joint. So we're gonna make sure that we're holding on our forearm, and we're gonna hold that for 20 seconds. 3, 2, 1. All right, we can kind of shake it out, and then we'll move to the other side. And start in 3, 2, 1. Three, 2, 1. All right, the next one is a tricep stretch. So you're gonna raise your arms over your head, and you're gonna grab onto one elbow and just kind of pull on it. You don't need to pull it all the way back, but just so you can feel a little bit of a stretch right in here. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, again, kind of shake it out. All right, and then we'll do the other side. Hold on to that other elbow. 3, 2, 1. Again, shake it all out, get loose. All right, last one for our upper body are gonna be our back. So we can kind of reach forward and then reach back. And you can just kind of keep doing that throughout the 20 seconds. So this is kind of a chest and back stretch. 3, 2, 1. All right, so next we're going to move to our lower body. For this one, if you want to have a chair nearby just for balance wise, you can. So we're going to stretch our quads. So since we did a lot of lunge and squat movements, those targeted our quads, which are the front. So you're just going to hold your leg up if you can and hold on to something if you can. 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we'll switch sides. Again, holding on to something. You can do the other leg. 3, 2, 1. All right, next one we're gonna do, we just did our quads, now we're gonna do our hamstrings. So for this one, you can just kind of move your foot out, just kind of like you're stepping diagonal to the side. And you're just gonna kind of reach down. You don't need to touch your toes or anything, but just kind of reach to where you can feel that stretch in your hamstrings. And you can kind of put your heel down with your toes up so you can feel it a little more. Three, two, one. All right, and then we'll do the other side. Again, just kind of with your heel out and then just kind of reaching. Don't need to reach all the way down. Just to where you can feel it. All right. And lastly, a lot of the group fitness classes at the rec center, they always finish with this and I love it. So I wanted to include it in mine. So what they do is you kind of do a squat motion and you stretch all the way up and kind of reach, just taking a deep breath and kind of just letting everything out, stretching anything else you guys need to stretch. Taking nice, big, deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth.